President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked the U.S. House of Representatives for approving a fresh $61 billion £49 billion package of military aid for Ukraine following months of delays. He claimed the aid might save thousands of lives. While politicians frequently decide a country's future, the fact that a nation's basic survival is dependent on a vote 5,000 kilometers away is as unusual as it seems. For Ukraine, the 6-month wait for this military package has been both costly and irritating. It has lost lives and territory as its ammo supplies have run low. In this moment of unusual boosts for Kyiv, this was a major deal. The introduction of American armament will let its besieged troops to do more than just hang on. However, it is not a silver bullet. So, what will the package do? It is likely to contain air defense systems, medium to long-range missiles, and artillery shells. The recent shortage of them in Ukraine has resulted in Russian forces taking hundreds of square kilometers of territory. When the aid arrives, Ukraine has the capacity to threaten Russia's air superiority, disrupt their supply lines, and impede advancing soldiers. Vitally, a military soldier we meet in central Kyiv believes it is critical to focus on the positives. Every cent matters, he says. It is greatly required. We need everything. Every cartridge, every penny, every kind idea. We need it all. When I was in the Donetsk region last month, soldiers indicated the majority of the artillery rumbles came from the Russian side. Cities such as Kostyantynivka and Kramatorsk were prepared for what could come. This aid could save those cities. It will not provide Ukraine with the resources to begin liberating territory and forcing Russia to retreat immediately, but it will provide a window for this to occur in the future. The agreement in Kyiv and Washington is that without American assistance, Ukraine will lose. Better late than never. On a dreary Sunday morning, the warmth of the Kyiv metro will always outlast the rainy streets above. It is here that we meet Maxim, who is relieved that the US help has finally been granted. I'm really happy about it, he says. I am just a little unhappy it took so long. Anyway, it is better late than never. Maxim is upset by the ongoing discussion over whether Ukraine should negotiate peace with Russia at the expense of territory. Russia doesn't want to negotiate, he says. They do not want the middle ground that Europe and the United States believe will end the war. They want everything. We also meet Vita, a mom who is holding her son's hand and pulling him off a train. How else can Ukraine survive without it? She says, it cannot. We do not have such an army or weapons. She then gets emotional. It is impossible. We truly want support so that our children can survive, so we wait. She nods to her son. The last 6 months have demonstrated not only Russia's dominance, but also Europe's unwillingness to provide the same level of support as the United States. We need to think about the hypothetical eventuality that the next package of US aid might not pass, says Mykola Bieleskov, a research fellow at the Ukrainian National Institute for Strategic Studies. That's why it's up for the UK and continental Europe to increase weapon production to meet Ukraine's requirements. As for a realistic goal for Kyiv this year, Mykola expects that American aid will help stabilize the front lines. Democracy takes time. Despite the return of Western unity, Ukraine's main concern has always been the time it takes for support to come. When it comes to military spending, Russian President Vladimir Putin does not face as many political difficulties. Democratic delays are not limited to abroad allies. Ukraine is also struggling to mobilize adequate men for the military effort. A contentious conscription law was just passed following months of debate and modifications. The problem for President Zelensky now is to keep politics distinct from the violence. He'll be under pressure to make this newest American contribution worthwhile.